Good morning, everybody. My name is Ryan Carpola, and today I'm going to be talking about the final project for week 8, class FTT 111, and we are going to talk about this piece of steel, drill and tap some holes into it, and then do a few scenarios. So to get us started, I'm going to take my lovely little caliper that SDI did send to me. I'm going to measure the width and length. So the width is coming out to 2.0540. And then the length is coming out to 4.0565, and I have that set to inches right now. So doing the math, I'm taking the width number, the length number, dividing it by 2, because I do need to find, I need it per the class, I need to have 3 holes across the piece of steel. So 2.0540 divided by 2, that's going to be 1.067, and then the length, which is 4.0565 inches, divide that by 2, which is 2.028, 2.8 or 282, technically 5 as well, but we're not going to include that number. When we add the two numbers, so the 1.027 plus the 2.0282, which got me 3.0552. So now I have the 3 sections I got. So I got 1.027 for my first hole. I got 2.028 for the second hole, and then 3.055 for the last hole. So I don't have ink, but I do have a Sharpie. So I'm actually going to color the steel, and I'm going to score using my caliper here exactly those dimensions. So I'm going to start by coloring in that steel. The edges are always the hardest, while my cat is jumping on my chair. Come on. Alright, so that's done. So now we have a nice colored piece of steel. So now I'm going to set my caliper into those sections. I'm going to score across and the center, and we'll go from there. So I'm going to pause the video real quick so that I can do that and go from there. Alright, so not the prettiest lines, but you get the idea. So I'm going to have to make divots into these 3 sections, which are obviously where we are drilling and tapping. So I just picked this guy up, and I realized it was the wrong one, but it should do exactly what I need it to do. Yeah. Pretty good. So now I have obviously where I'm going to be marking, and next is going to be actually tapping them, or drilling them. So I'll be right back, and we'll get that taken care of. Alright, so what we're actually going to do is we're going to take my center drill bit, which is that guy, put it in my drill after I put this piece of steel into my vise here, which I'm going to change the camera angles to do so. I do have soft jaws too. That is usually recommended for obviously working on steel or softer material. So I'm gonna swap the camera, put this in my vise, get everything ready with my drill, and then go from there. All right, different angle. Got the piece of steel here on my vise. Got the drill with the center drill. So now we're gonna slowly but surely go very slow and slowly divot out those holes, making sure everything is perfectly straight. I am adding a decent amount of pressure to it. Yeah, perfect. I'll show you once I do all three, so I'm going to do the next one now. There we go. Got a little stuck there, but that's okay. They are looking pretty straight. Now we'll do the last one. Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to keep it in my vise, so we're going to keep this camera angle. But as you can see, nice metal shavings, got some nice divot holes, perfectly centered in all those sections that I did mark. The next step is actually going to be drilling and then tapping. So I'm going to get my the drill bit, forgot the name for a sec, the drill bit that SDI is saying that I need to use. So I'll be right back. All right, got the bit. So I'm supposed to put liquid, like a cooling solution onto this so that, you know, nothing gets damaged. Unfortunately, I don't have one, so we're just going to go for it. Plus, SDI didn't send me one. So we are just going to go nice and slow, or my drill doesn't want to work. There we go. Again, making sure everything is nice and straight. As you can see, that little flying piece of metal, that means it's the right way to, it's the right speed. All right. Oh no. There we go. There we go. Definitely gotta get a better drill because this thing kept getting stuck. But, you know, got the nice metal flakes all over the place. So I'm going to do the other two off camera real quick, and then be right back. Also, almost forgot, before I even started doing the second hole, is my safety glasses. So I did mess up the one, but for the rest and the rest of the video, I'm going to be keeping my safety glasses on. Finish these holes, be right back. Alright, all 3 holes are drilled. So I'm going to clean this up first, because there was metal shavings everywhere. So that was a good call for eye protection. Don't make the same mistake that I did with the first hole. So I'm kind of glad I did that. So I'm going to clean this up real quick, and I'll be right back. Alright, so I cleaned up. Everything's nice and pretty now. But we're going to take my tap, or my tap tool, or tap tool and the tap. Make sure it's nice and tight, but also perfectly I'm going the wrong way. Perfectly straight. Make sure it's nice and tight as well. Alright. Yeah. So now we got that in. So now we're going to tap. So the SDI video that shows us obviously what we're supposed to be doing specifically says 3 turns, go back 1, 3 turns, go back 1. So you're supposed to also have tapping fluid, but SDI unfortunately did not send me that. And I unfortunately don't have any right now. So I'm just going to go really slow. Take my time with everything. Make sure it's perfectly straight. And I'm not going to pause the video for this one, because this is very delicate work. Alright, I'm almost on the bottom here. Because I did drill it all the way through. So I'm going to go all the way through. Probably one of my most favorite projects so far. Alright, I can feel the end. So we're just going to unscrew it. I'm not going to re-tighten it because I was starting to lose a lot of that grip. So, or the tightness, I should say. Just going to slowly unscrew it because I don't want to yank it out. You yank it out, you're going to just ruin the work you just did. Yeah, did come undone. That's upsetting. Move that out of the way. Oh, what the? Interesting. Right, I'm gonna get my tap back in working order, and I'll be right back, and then we'll do the other two. Alright. Now we got it back in working order. See how nice and tight that was? Or is? Now we are in the clear. So now we're going to do the second hole. Just nice and slow. Just slowly drilling. Three revolutions, one going back, and then same thing again. 3 revolutions, one going back, making sure that I don't overdo it, especially with me not having fluid. Just nice and slow and straight. That's the key. Nice and easy. Yeah, definitely one of my favorite projects through SDI so far. I like doing this hands-on work personally. I'm more of a hands-on learner. Just checking to see if I made it all the way through yet. I did not. So I'm trying not to break the bits. I'm almost there though. Alright. I made it through because I'm not getting any struggle anymore. So we're just going to slowly unscrew it, which can be tedious, but not the end of the world. Again, don't want to ruin the work I just did. Taking it out like any other screw. Okay. And now we do the final one. So make sure we're nice and straight. Yeah, you can, when doing this, you can actually feel it cutting into the metal. Because then when you unscrew it, it's super, super easy. Just nice and easy. Yeah. Seems like I like to do the 3 or more revolutions to go in, and then I usually do like 1 or 2 to really feel if I did go all the way. Alright, yep, I am all the way now. And also make sure I'm doing it right too. Because, fun fact, this is the first time I've ever done this. And I'm having an absolute blast. So, the next step is taking the screws, which SDI has also provided, and creating those scenarios. So I'm going to grab those screws real quick and be right back. Alright, yep. So my tool just fell. So I got one of the screws here, and we're going to actually just test to make sure that I did it right, which will also create our first scenario, which is damaging the head of the screwdriver. Or the screwdriver, the screw itself. So we're just gonna dig this guy in. It's going in really easily, actually, which is good, but it's still nice and tight enough where there won't be any issues. So if this was a firearm, that would be so secure, as we can see right there. So the first scenario is obviously user error. So I'm actually going to take my tool here and I'm just going to purposely damage by creating some burrs into the screw head itself. Oh, I just loosened it. Ha! By over tightening, stuff like that. So, yeah. So now that is a damaged screw head. With burrs, so it won't necessarily go in tight anymore, or like if you use the wrong size, anything like that, that can cause an issue. So I'm actually going to use my vise, take out the piece of steel for now. I'm actually going to take off my soft jaws, and I'm going to clamp the screw head down. And then SDI also just sent me a bunch of slim body hand files to get rid of those burrs. So I'm not going to do it too tight because obviously we're going to reuse this. So I'm going to grab it. Nice fine file, and I'm just going to go over it. Yeah, you can already hear it, or feel it, I should say. Get rid of those burrs. Nice kind of 45-degree angle. And not only we're going to do the face, we're also going to do the actual center bit of it itself. Sorry, I didn't know my hand was in the camera view. So, yeah, that looks pretty good. We're going to do a little bit more on the top, because part of this is actually re-bluing. So I'm going to get some more of that nice exposed metal look to it. Do the center again so I don't lose that. Perfect. So I'm going to keep the little screw head in my vise, and I'm actually going to flip the... So, pretty good. I got rid of those burrs pretty nice. So now I'm going to grab my bluing solution, which SDI did provide me. Get some gloves, because I don't want this on my hands, especially with someone who works with their hands pretty frequently outside of schooling. Yeah, I don't want that stuff on me. So, gloved up, and then I'm actually just going to use Q-tips to re-blue it. So, just going to dip it in there, get it nice and wet, and I'm just going to re-blue it. Wow, that's almost instantaneous. That's really nice. Get it nice and even coat. And then, obviously, this is a chemical, so I'm going to dispose of this properly by putting it actually in a Ziploc bag before I dispose of it. Because I don't want that anywhere. So, now that's done. We'll wait for this to dry. I'll show you the results, and then we'll go to the next scenario. Alright. Now that it's relatively dry, take the screw head out. As you can see, nice and, well, blued again. And we'll put that one off to the side for now. Get my piece of steel back out. And we're going to slot it back in my vise with my soft jaws that I almost forgot about. Nice and tight, not too tight, and there you go. For first time bluing, I'm pretty happy with that. And then we'll just stick it back in that same hole, because why not? So, we're getting there. So, the next scenario is an angled. So I'm going to purposely go at a really sharp angle. So, yeah. And it's supposed to be crooked like that. So what I would be doing is unscrewing it and just retapping. At a nice straight angle. Screw didn't go in far, so makes it nice and easy. And then if I put the screw back in, nice and straight from all angles. And then the final scenario, I gotta cut this screw. Unfortunately, I don't have a Dremel of any type, so I'm gonna just find a way to break it real quick and go from there. Alright, so I took a hand file, just grounded it down to pretty much nothing. So there's no bit head, nothing. So the way we're going to do that is I'm going to take this bit, and then I'm going to put it in, extract it out. So I'm going to get everything ready, and we'll take care of that. Alright. Got that first bit to drill those holes, or to start the burrs for the holes. Just ignore the noise, it's just my crazy cat. And just goes nice and slow. Staying perfectly perpendicular. Alright, now we got our hole. Pretty much doing all the steps again, just like last time. Got the bit, nice and slow. There it goes. So this is like a scenario of if the screw gets stuck. Which I've had happen personally a lot of times. Alright, that should be enough. Let's see. Workspace nice and clean. And then, oh, wrong bit. Because we need, like I said, everything in reverse. So now, I'm going to re-tap it. I think I need to make the hole a little bigger, so hold on. Kind of got a little carried away. Ended up snapping, dropped it. Ended up snapping the head of the screw off and was able to do it with the extractor tool here, so it was just pulling it out or unscrewing it out. But that would be all. Hope you guys enjoyed. I know this is a longer video, and you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.